Hello, folks. Say, I've got a swell story I want to tell you today. Champ and I are ready for action. As big as Texas, and it's filled with love for you. I looked around all over Texas till I found someone so true. It always seemed the same as any other, but when you came along it grew and grew. I've got a heart as big as Texas, and it's filled with love for you. Reach, stranger. Keep 'em up.
Well, that's a nice-looking horse you got there.
You don't come any better.
I'm glad to hear that. Mine's plumb wore out, and I got a long ways to travel.
You know, they still hang horse thieves in these parts.
If they catch him. Turn around.
What'd you do with him, Champ? Well, anyway, like I said, they don't come any better. Think you can find him, boy? Wanted for murder while impersonating an officer. $1,000 reward. Dave Anders. Must have broke his neck in the fall. Everything's set at Pronghorn Gap. Just don't forget your badge. H.
Rain. Yeah, oh, yeah. No rain. Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Now, wait a minute, stranger. I ain't no hand to be laughed at.
Well, I wouldn't think of laughing. That was just like a real Navajo Indian rain dance.
Hey, you got plenty savvy, ain't you? That's what it was. You see, I'm a professional rainmaker by trade.
I take it you're having a dry spell around here.
Dry? So dry around here you can't even raise potatoes.
You could if you'd plant onions between the rows.
Now, wait a minute. I know every rain-making trick in the books, but I never heard of that. And how does it work?
Well, it's very simple. Potatoes have eyes. You
Yeah.
plant onions between the rows. The onions grow up. The eyes of the potatoes start crying. You got all the water you need.
Wait a minute, onions. You're kidding me.
It's worth trying. I guess I come to the wrong country. I'm looking for a ranch to buy.
Well, you can get any of these ranches around here you want, dirt cheap. And that's what you'll end up getting, is cheap dirt. They ain't only got a drought around here. There's a gang around.
Sounds like somebody's playing rough.
That's That's what I started telling you about. There's a gang of outlaws around here. It's been raiding ranches and killing people.
Well, look.
Well, wait a minute. I'll be with you.
Get him, Ellie. I'll be all right.
Just a minute, Sam.
What for?
All right, boy.
I've got to stop you.
Try it.
This is no place for you.
What'd you do that for? How do I know you're not one of them? Put your hands up.
My name's Gene Autry. I did it because I don't like to see a lady being shot at.
You were helping them.
No, ma'am. If I was one of them, I'd be hightailing it like they are. And wearing a handkerchief over my face besides.
But if you hadn't have interfered, I might have gotten one of them.
To say nothing of one of them getting you. Now can I put my hands down?
Well, I suppose so. I have to be getting back to the ranch. They wounded my brother.
I'll pick up your horse.
Sure, I'm sure. Everybody's sure. Only you can't prove it. But it's that banker.
Thanks, Jill. He seems to be all right. It could only be Mr. Hubbard. The range is burning up and this gang is killing people and forcing them out, and still he buys options on all the ranches.
So his name's Hubbard. Know anybody else around here whose name begins with H?
Yes. There's another one. Bill Hubbard, his son.
Yeah, Bill and Ellie's engaged to get hitched.
But we're not anymore. Bill's in with his father. And I'm not staying engaged to a crook and maybe a murderer.
Can't blame you. Say, Chill, how about riding into town with me, showing me around?
Well, I'll be glad to.
And, you'd better not go off chasing any more of these outlaws, Miss March.
I still don't know where you fit in.
I'm just a man looking for a nice, quiet little ranch.
Well, don't get your heart set on this one.
Look, over there.
Over where? Hey, Gene, wait a minute!
They got him. Somebody got him. Knifed.
It's Jim Hogan.
Hogan. That begins with an H. What about him?
Owns a little ranch up in the wash. Always tended to his own business. Why are you so all-fired interested in names that begin with an H?
Oh, it's just my favorite letter, I guess. Well, let's drive him on into town. And even if all this wasn't my fight, it looks as though I'm right in the middle of it.
I'm Bert Monahan, Autry, and I want to thank you for what you did.
I explained everything to Gene, Bert. He knows who's responsible.
Don't look at me like that, Chill. I don't know anything about who shot Tom March or who killed Jim Hogan.
That's what you say every time anything happens.
Well, since I'm mixed up in this local fracas, I'd like to know why you're buying up all these worthless ranches.
Well, because I have faith.
Faith, nothing. He knows where underground water can be tapped, Autry, but he's not telling anybody until all the land is his.
I don't know yet, but I have faith that there's water plenty here if we can just find the right place to drill the well.
Well, I've got faith that I'm a rainmaker, too. But while we're sitting around waiting for this rain, seems like we ought to size up your situation a little more.
Well, that's kind of taking the law in your own hands, Chill.
Autry's right. Pronghorn Gap's under the U.S. Marshal. The deputy marshal's due on one of his regular trips pretty soon.
I've already sent for the deputy. I asked him to make a special trip to stop this murdering.
You sent for him?
Yes, I did. And for all I know, he's already here.
How you figure that?
Him, Autry.
Me? I have nothing to do with it. I'm just looking for a ranch to buy.
Well, anyhow, he'll be here pretty soon, and then we'll find out who's responsible for all this shooting and murdering.
While we're waiting, Hubbard, supposing you tell us where that boy of yours is.
Well, he's on a business trip.
Yeah, we know. Leading that gang of outlaws.
He is not. He's working for the good of Pronghorn. And someday I'll prove it to you. Whenever we strike water, every man that's given me an option on his land can have it back for just what I paid him.
Don't you listen to him, Gene. He's just an old skinflint.
Well, Autry, I guess Pronghorn Gap doesn't look so good to you now.
Oh, I don't know. This thing's sort of got my curiosity aroused. Think I'll stick around and see how it turns out.
You're sure welcome. I'll be seeing you.
It's the boss. Well, any sign of your phony U.S. Marshal?
No, and he should be here by now.
Well, I'm for going ahead without him. We don't need his badge.
None of that, Orcutt. I'm giving the orders, and my plan has worked up to now. Hubbard's got options on most of that land.
So we go in and shoot at the bank and Hubbard. Then you get the options at your price.
And get filled full of lead? No. With that badge, Anders can arrest the Hubbards. They'll never come back, and we can do everything nice and legal.
Well, okay. If you're sure you can find that water.
Listen, I can go to that underground stream like a horse to a water hole. But don't forget, I'm the only one who can.
Hey, take a look at that.
Well, that's the hombre that horned in when we hit the March place.
Now, Gene, if you get a loud enough explosion, the clouds will gather. They'll think it's thunder, and then you get rain. Why, you might even get a cloud bust.
Sure sounds scientific.
Now, I'm gonna touch it off, but don't you stay where you are. Back up some. When I pull that string, you ain't gonna be where you are you? Well, back up some. Come on. You ready? Here she goes. Now, Gene, don't you feel something, kind of like something like a little drizzle?
You know, I don't think you kidded a single cloud into thinking that was thunder.
Oh, you just saying that 'cause you don't believe in rainmaking.
I guess you have to be born to that.
Well, I was, and I'm gonna save this Pronghorn Valley from old man Hubbard yet.
You go ahead. I'm gonna have a look around. Maybe I can find Hubbard's underground river.
We don't have to worry about that crazy rainmaker and his phony ideas, but that Autry.
Hey, come near plugging me over at March's.
Hubbard said he sent for a real marshal. Autry claims he ain't one, but from the way he acted, I'm not so sure.
And what's he hanging around for?
I don't like that either.
Well,
Okay.
mount up.
I'll ride into town and see if there's any sign of Anders.
Well drilling rig.
That young feller's Bill Hubbard.
Turn the rig off.
That's close enough. What do you want?
Hey, what are you gonna do with that contraption?
We're drilling for water. But water isn't the only thing I can drill.
Maybe we can be friends, Hubbard.
Joe hasn't been a friend of mine or my father's.
That can be straightened out.
Well, you can straighten it out right from where you are, stranger. All right, get the rig working, Johnny. No use wasting time. Everything Dad said is true, Autry. He believes there's water underground somewhere. So do I.
Well, if you feel that way, Bill, you've rented this rig to drill for water. Why don't you let the folks in Pronghorn know about it?
Because that gang would be out here blasting us if we advertise what we're doing. We may not strike water in this hole, but we'll find it somewhere, and we won't hog it all.
I've been beginning to believe this fella, Gene.
Ellie.
We've nothing left in common, Bill. And that's a cock and bull story about being afraid of the outlaws. All the Hubbards want is to keep the water for themselves.
Ellie, listen to me.
I will not. I'm going into town and tell everybody. And if you're honest, Bill Hubbard, you've nothing to be afraid of.
Get on your horse, Bill. Maybe we can talk her out of it. You better stay here, Chill. Guard the rig.
Get that thing off. Come here, Johnny. Now, there's two ways to get water. One is the drilling method. That's you. The other is the scientific rainmaker. That's me. Now, I have here the balloon method. This has been tried and proved by the best of us rainmakers. Come over here, Johnny, and I'll show you. First, I take this. This thing's got to be full of gas.
Ellie, I want to talk to you.
So do I. Guess we lose, Bill. Let me cry on your shoulder. It's the least that you could do. I gave you my heart, though I knew from the start I could never win with you. Let me cry on your shoulder for a dream that turned out wrong. I know that I've been someone just filling in until your real love came along.
Ellie.
Let go of that bridle.
Ellie, listen.
No, I won't.
Then you have to listen to me, Ellie.
A United States Deputy Marshal.
What? Working out of district headquarters.
Well, why didn't you say so from the beginning?
Because there was an outlaw named Anders heading this way with a stolen badge. Somebody had sent for him to pose as a deputy, and I wanted to find out who it was.
Mr. Hubbard.
No, Hubbard's letter to headquarters was legitimate. The other fellow was trying to beat him to it, and his name begins with an H, too.
Well, I can't think of anyone else around Pronghorn.
Neither can I, except Jim Hogan, and he wouldn't have done it. Believe me, Ellie, Dad and I are only guessing and hoping there's water. But somebody else knows for sure where it is, and he's the one making the trouble.
I agree with him, Ellie. And if you'll trust me, we'll find out who this other H is.
Well,
That's a girl. Now, here's what we do. Ride into town and say nothing about the Hubbards drilling for water. We'll set the trap for the other fellow. And that's where you come in.
I do. How?
Well, he doesn't know Anders is dead. And when I tell him I'm a U.S. Marshal, he's going to try to head Anders off. Now, listen.
Now, you see the balloon takes the powder up in the sky. Bingo! Powder explodes, gets all the clouds together, and we get all the rain we want. Maybe a cloud bust. Maybe more than we want.
Couldn't be anybody but the Hubbards drilling wells. Monahan won't like it if they hit water. Quick, get those explosives. We'll tap them down this hole and wreck it. And the rig, too. Mike, go turn her off.
I'm going to ask any of you that sees this man to let me know right away. He's got a badge, but he's still an outlaw.
Sure glad you turned out to be a deputy marshal, Autry, and we'll watch out for this Anders. But what about the Hubbards?
I've got enough evidence on both of them to hold them for questioning.
Evidence? You haven't any evidence at all.
That's not for you to say. Come on inside, both of you.
I've got a lot of confidence in this Autry. He's bound to get this thing straightened out.
I'm sure he will. Gene! Gene, come out here quick. You told me to watch for anyone that was in a hurry to leave town. Bert Monahan just rolled out the minute you went inside.
Take it easy, Bill. Don't let him spot us.
Right, Gene.
Hey, Tom, take that detonator plenty far back, because when she blows, she's going to be a good one. That ought to get it. Come on. Plunger down, duck. She's apt to throw rocks this far.
Hey, look there. Now, reach, you buzzards. I know you don't deserve it, but I'm going to give you a scientific demonstration of rainmaking. Watch the little balloon go up, boys. Watch it.
Sounds like it came from over around the drilling rig.
Shucks, I don't even feel a drizzle.
What's all this?
Well, the Hubbards are drilling a well. This crazy galoot... Look.
It's drizzling. It's raining. Gene, it's a cloud bust. And I'm a rainmaker. I did it. I made it rain. Rain, rain, rain.
You sure did. You made a cloud bust. Now that I've got you two married, I guess there's no more problem.
A lucky day for me when you came along.
Gene, I know Monahan admitted sending that note to the fake deputy, but why did he sign it with an H?
What was Monahan's first name?
Bert,
That's right. Short for...
I know, short for Herbert.
precisely what I was going to say.
And that's what Anders called him. Well, I guess I better be hitting the trail. Next time I come back here, I expect this place to look like a garden.
So long.
Bye, Gene.
So long.
Be sure to see Gene Autry and Champion in their latest feature-length picture at your local theater.
Hey, Audrey, don't you go get yourself caught in another cloud bust.